Paragons of Virtue, Embodiments of Honor, Guiding Lights of Integrity, and Masters of Combat, the Knights of the East. This is the image we often conjure when we think of the legendary samurai. While this portrayal is compelling, it is also rather misleading. In this video, we aim to set the record straight and delve into the even more intriguing roles and perceptions of the samurai in Japanese society, tracing their evolution from ancient times to the present day. The unique geographical conditions that birthed the samurai are quite exceptional. The Japanese archipelago sits just off the Korean peninsula and the Asian mainland, which led German advisor Jakob Meckel during the Meiji Restoration to describe Korea as a dagger pointed at Japan's heart. Despite this separation, China, the regional powerhouse, has had a profound influence on Japan, shaping its history significantly. The Japanese imperial system may even have its origins in Chinese practices. Early Heian Japan expanded northward with an army modeled after the heavy infantry of China's Tang dynasty. Eventually, they encountered the Emishi, or hairy people, of northeastern Honshu. This distinct group had developed horse archery techniques akin to those of the Huns and Mongols. The stationary early Japanese forces struggled against these mobile guerrilla tactics, leading to their adoption of similar methods. The Emishi's resilience played a crucial role in shaping the early samurai, and it is said that the essence of the Japanese spirit embodies the legacy of the Emishi. As the Heian Japanese pushed against the Emishi at the end of the 8th century, many of the Emishi established semi-autonomous feudal domains, laying the groundwork for what would become the samurai, a term meaning servant or retainer. This name was coined by Heian-era warriors to set themselves apart from the perceived unsophisticated provincial roughnecks. This is a key misconception about the samurai that needs addressing. They were more than just sword-wielding warriors clad in elaborate armor. The earliest samurai were likely the very rural Emishi horse archers, favored by the emperors for quelling internal disturbances. As the Heian period progressed, the central government in modern Kyoto became increasingly disengaged from direct governance, allowing the samurai to grow more autonomous and consolidate their power. This culminated in a series of uprisings, leading to the samurai class taking control and establishing the Kamakura Shogunate, Japan's first shogunate. A shogun was technically a senior samurai ruling on behalf of the emperor, but in practice, they were the military dictator, with the emperor serving as a mere figurehead. At times, even the shogun was a puppet, with true power resting in the hands of the influential feudal lords, or daimyo. During the Kamakura era, Japan faced significant threats. The Yuan Empire under Kublai Khan launched 2 invasions of Japan, and the samurai were eager for battle. They employed unconventional tactics to thwart the Mongol fleets, such as setting fire to enemy ships and launching relentless suicide attacks. Ultimately, 2 typhoons decimated the Mongol fleets, securing Japan's safety. Samurai have often been viewed as the Eastern counterparts to medieval European knights, admired for their code of conduct and elite status. Unlike knights, however, samurai typically made up the bulk of feudal Japanese armies, whereas European armies often consisted of a mix of knights, men-at-arms, and peasants. During the Mongol invasions, samurai represented nearly the entire Japanese military force. Nevertheless, the Mongol Wars weakened the Kamakura Shogunate, leading to its downfall. Following more political maneuvering and a failed attempt at imperial restoration, the Ashikaga shogunate rose to power in 1338. Despite their formidable presence, the Ashikaga gradually lost control over local daimyo. By 1467, a samurai feud for Kyoto between the Hosokawa and Yamana families led to the shogunate's loss of provincial control. This period marked the onset of the Sengoku Jidai, a famous era in samurai history. By the end of the Onin War, Japan was fragmented into numerous feudal domains ruled by daimyo, known as great names. Many samurai myths and legends originated during this time, and while some were true, they only applied to specific places and periods. This was the golden age of samurai warfare, a time later samurai would idealize and strive to emulate. Honor and deceit coexisted during this era. A notable example of honor was the rivalry between Uesugi Kenshin and Takeda Shingen, which, unlike many cutthroat conflicts of the time, resembled a yearly contest between gentlemen. They would meet annually for battle, and then return to their respective homes. On one occasion, When a rival clan disrupted the Takata's salt supplies, Kenshin provided his own, stating he preferred to fight with swords, not salt. As the 16th century progressed, such gentlemanly conduct diminished. American traders introduced early firearms like the arquebus to southern Japan. Although Japanese were familiar with gunpowder, this new technology drastically altered warfare. Contrary to the popular belief propagated by films like The Last Samurai, samurai did not reject firearms out of a sense of dishonor. While some were initially skeptical of the new weapons, many daimyo who could afford them embraced them, finding success in their use. Akata Shingen, for instance, purchased 300 firearms before his 1571 battle against Uesugi Kenshin. Samurai also engaged in betrayal, contrary to their image of unwavering honesty. For instance, Akechi Mitsuhide betrayed Oda Nobunaga, who was on the verge of unifying Japan, claiming the title of Shogun for himself. Mitsuhide's motives remain speculative, but many believe he harbored grievances against Nobunaga. Mitsuhide's betrayal led to Nobunaga's suicide, and Mitsuhide's death a few months later, at the hands of Oda's allies. In 1600, Tokugawa Ieyasu emerged victorious at the Battle of Sekigahara and unified Japan under the Tokugawa shogunate. The sudden end of warfare left the samurai with little to do. They became a hereditary class and gradually transitioned into roles such as clerks, night watchmen, tax collectors, security guards, courtiers, and administrators, all while maintaining their traditional martial attire as a mark of prestige. In stark contrast to their former austere nature, some samurai during the Tokugawa era began commissioning ornate swords and adopting extravagant hairstyles. Although Bushido, the warrior code, remained, samurai lost much of their military training and became symbols of Japan's past rather than its future guardians. To align with their new civil roles, Bushido evolved to emphasize etiquette and politeness, which proved useful in bureaucratic roles. Martial training continued but became more of an art form than preparation for actual combat. The katana-wielding samurai popularized in this period differed significantly from their practical predecessors, who fought in battles like Sekigahara and against the Mongols. As agriculture's importance in the Japanese economy diminished, samurai stipends from the state began to decline, leading to discontent among samurai and rising merchants. This trend worsened towards the late Tokugawa period, with many poorer samurai sinking to peasant-level wealth. This unrest led to an increase in masterless samurai, or ronin, turning to banditry for financial gain. Eventually, under pressure from foreign powers, the Tokugawa shogunate was replaced by the Japanese Empire, relegating the samurai to a marginal role. The dissolution of the old samurai order fueled further myths and romanticism, allowing the new Japanese state to reshape Bushido into a philosophy symbolizing good citizenship. The fervor of these new values persisted until World War II and the atomic bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki. After Japan's surrender, Bushido was reinterpreted as a historical relic. Despite this, the Japanese continue to be seen as dedicated and industrious, and the legacy of the samurai remains evident in modern Japan. This has been our exploration of the samurai's history, perceptions, and reality through Japanese history. Stay tuned for more videos like this by subscribing to our channel and hitting the notification bell.